a 2011 Subaru WRX STI. This is the actual car that we raced at the Isle of Man TT Challenge. The Isle of Man is obviously known for being one of the world's most famous motorcycle races. We were looking into finding some way to get attention for the new body style for the STI. Late night, we're chatting with some journalists and we asked them, what would be the ultimate drive? If you could think of something that you would always want to do on a bucket list drive, what would it be? And a couple of people said, you know what? The Isle of Man. If you're not familiar with it, the Isle of Man is a 37.8 mile lap. It's essentially a tour of almost the entire island. It's just an amazing place. For years, the organizers have been saying that they didn't want cars on the track. They were kind of tentative, and then we said, we really would like to bring in Mark Higgins. His brother obviously races for our Rally USA team. And Mark had been trying to put this together for some years, but he's also a Manxman. He's from the Isle of Man, grew up there. He knows the course obviously a bit better, knows kind of the mentality of the folks there. He was really integral in helping us be able to do this. We're really looking to kind of create this with a US spec car. And we tried as hard as we could to maintain that. There are several places where he's getting 2, 3, 4 feet off the ground. He's running for long, extended periods of time at above 100 miles an hour. We ended up looking into putting a little bit more of a race spec suspension. We've really beefed up the handling of the system we put on this car, and we've made it incredibly loud, which makes every driving experience just that much more fun. But the rest of the car, pretty much stock. It's essentially an STI on steroids. If you've driven a regular STI, one of the great things is our all-wheel drive system and the turbo engine mean that you can explode out of a corner. So most cars, you go in slow, gently apply the throttle. And not with our cars. With our cars, you can be in the middle of the corner, you can downshift, hit the throttle, the all-wheel drive system will pull you through the corner, and as you come on boost, the car really just rockets out of a corner. With the full race setup, you've got 4-point harnesses, the racing seats, roll cages. It does make you feel like a race car driver when you're driving. One of the first things we did when we were building this car, take the speed limiter off. These cars are limited to 155 miles per hour. We took that off, and you can see roughly 162 miles per hour. For anyone familiar with tuning WRXs and STIs, you know that when you change out the exhaust on these cars, there's a flat engine note that we get with a flat 4 engine that's very, very unique. They're also quite loud. So with this is running no exhaust whatsoever, it's extremely loud. The course is run over public roads, public streets through the Isle of Man, through the villages. To run a full lap like this, you have to have all the roads shut down. It's only during that race week that you can even attempt it. The first day we had out there was Monday, was really kind of a shakedown lap. The previous record had been a 100 mile per hour lap. First day of practice, Mark hit 113 miles per hour for his average lap time. The second lap he did, we had a videographer in a car, and he's a pretty light guy, but just that extra bit of weight. At the bottom of Bray Hill, he compressed the suspension, jerked the car sideways. The car is slewing back and forward. Inside the car, his hands are moving 100 miles an hour, and his eyes are staying dead straight the entire time. It's just an amazing bit of driving. He went from 150, lost it, caught the car, got it back straight, going down to 110 miles an hour, and was back on it immediately. And then the last one's actually when we broke the record. He did an average lap time of 115 miles per hour. When the car would come back into the pits, the amount of heat soak on the car was amazing. The car just radiated heat for about 5 feet all around it. The minute you start this engine, it just explodes into life. Every time you touch the throttle, it just screams. You're in a place with no speed limits, on a track that is just mind-numbing, to say the least. It's a great, great run. It's a harrowing track, but this car handles it incredibly well, and it's just fun. It is fun. Every time you put your foot down on this car, it just will throw you back in your seat. It's a blast to drive.